Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for the math portion of the GMAT. We have been solving math problems out of this book here, GMAT Review, the official guide, the 13th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we're about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 164. It says in my notes here, I don't know why. That's probably because it is 164. Page 164, that has to change. The very first problem on page 164, problem number 83. Let's take a look at it. Problem number 83. It says we have 4 more women than men. It says also that we have a total of 10. The question simply is, how many women? That's all. So that is our first equation. 4 more women. So the number of women is whatever the number of men is plus the 4 more. That's the first equation. Number of women is 4 more than number of men. The second equation is going to come from here. The total is 10, which we are told is the sum of men and women. So it's very simple, very straightforward, 2 very simple linear equations. We just have to solve for W. Since we are interested in W, let's solve this equation for M. So M equals 10 minus W, and we're going to put it back in this equation. So W equals M, which is 10 minus W, plus a 4. Bring the W to this side. So 2W equals 10 plus 4, which is 14, and therefore W equals 7. That's it. That was it. Very straightforward. Let's do the next one, number 84. In number 84, we are investing $10,000 at 8%, compounded, semi-annually, which means at the end of 6 months we're going to earn interest on our deposit, and then at the end of the following 6 months, not only we will earn the interest on our initial investment, but we will also get the interest on the interest that we earn in the first half of the year. And the interest that we're going to earn for half the year is going to be 4%, because this 8%, even though it doesn't say it, percentages are always expressed, the rate of returns are always expressed per annum, per year. So it's 8% per year, therefore in half a year we're going to earn 4%. So in first 6 months, we will earn 4%. 1% of 10,000. 1% of 10,000 is very simple. You just knock out the 2 zeros, so it becomes 100. 1% of 10,000 is 100. Therefore, 4% is just 400. So at the end of 6 months, we will have $10,000 of our initial investment that we started out with, plus the $400 in interest that we earned at the end of 6 months. Question is, what's going to be the interest earned on that amount, 4,000, on that amount, 10,400, that is. $10,000 of our initial investment and the $400 that we earned at the end of the first 6 months, semi-annually, half a year. So let's find out. We have to find out 4% of 10,400. Well, let's keep it very simple. 4% of 10,600 is same as 4% of 10,000 plus a 4% of 400. 4% of 10,000 we already know is 400. 4% of 400, 4% of 100, 4% of 100 is 4, 4% of 400, it's got to be 4 times 4, it's 16. So that's what we will earn. This is the amount of interest we will earn in the second half of the year. The amount of interest we earn in the second half of the year. And the question simply is, what is the question asking? I think they're looking for total amount of interest earned. What is the total amount of interest paid on the certificate at the maturity? It's going to mature in 1 year, they tell us in the problem, so that's it. In the first half we earn $400, in the second half we are earning $416. So this amount, $400, plus the amount that we earn in the second half, $416, is $816. Which makes perfect sense because, let me explain you what I mean by that, logically speaking that is, it makes perfect sense because the simple interest on $10,000 would have been, let's make a note here, simple interest would have been 8% of 10,000. Simple interest would have been 8% of 10,000. It's not compounded. You just put the money in the account, let it sit there for 1 year. At the end of 1 year, you get your $10,000 back plus the 8% of 10,000. And 8% of 10,000 is $800. Because we figured out before that 1% was 100. 8% is 800, which means that because of the fact that it's compounded semi-annually, the amount of interest that we're going to earn is going to be slightly more than 800, just a little bit more than 800. And if you look at the answer choices, some of the answer choices that they give you are just insane, just pure insanity. The first answer they give you is $10,464. No, you're not going to earn $10,464 in interest on an investment of $10,000. That's not 8%. Then they give you 864. The answer choice that you should cross out immediately, right away, right off the bat like that, the insane answers are A, because it has to be more than 800, you understand? But simple interest is 800, therefore if it's being compounded, it's got to be a little bit more than 800. E is wrong, E says 480, cross it out. D is wrong, D says 800, that's just simple interest. And A is just insane. The only contest that is left at this point is either B or a C. And it's not going to be B because the correct answer, whatever it is, as I said before, is going to be just a slightly more than 800. It's not going to go jump up to 64. Do you understand? It's not going to jump to 64. The people who are picking 64 are the people who are actually sitting there and counting the 8% of 800. I don't know why they would do that, but that's what they're doing. It's not 8% of 800. What you're earning in the second half is simple. What we are earning in the second half is only 4% of this amount, because you would have earned, see, at the end of 6 months you have 10,400. Ordinarily you would have earned 4% of $10,000 in the second half of the year. Instead of earning 4% of 10,000 in the second half of the year, in addition to earning 4% of 10,000, you're also earning 4% of 400. Because you have additional $400 in your account at the end of 6 months. So 4% of 400, well, 1% of 400 is 4, so the 4% of 400 is 16. That's the extra amount that you're going to earn by the virtue of money being compounded semi-annually. That's all. Anyway, enough said. I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay? Bye now.